Stephanie,
Hi,
how are you today?
I am doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for being with us.
Oh, of course. Thanks for having me.
Can you tell me how you got started entertaining and creating in Philadelphia?
Okay, that's a long story, but I will try to be quick with it. Okay, so growing up, I'm originally from Philadelphia, born and raised. Never spent any time at the playgrounds. My parents wouldn't let me. But I did spend most of my time being a martial artist. I actually trained at this school called 𝐏𝐢𝐜𝐭𝐮𝐫𝐞𝐬, like basically my whole life. And that was mostly what I did. I was a Taekwondo girl. And then I went to my second world championships. I sprained my ankle fighting this girl from Greece. Couldn't continue. Fortunately, was able to somehow bring home like 2 bronze medals after all of the events. But from that incident, I vowed that any opportunities that would come my way, I would take advantage of it and I would jump on it. No matter how much it might scare me, no matter how different it is from what I'm used to. So it's funny because then like fast forward a couple months, I got a letter in the mail inviting me to do a pageant. And I've been a Taekwondo girl my whole life at this point. And I was like, this is so weird. And my mom was like, you should just do it. I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to do it and I'm going to go all out. So then I did the pageant. I ended up getting like 4th runner up or something for Miss Pennsylvania. Yeah, it's weird. And then after that, I got offered to go to John Robert Powers Modeling and Acting School for like 10 weeks. And by this point, I was already in college. So I went on like the Saturdays and they're like, yeah, you're going to have a whole like modeling and acting career. You're going to get all these offers like right when you finish the course. Did not exactly happen. It was stagnant for a month. And I was like, you know what? I don't want this to go to waste. Let me just go full send into it. So starting in 2010, I was already in college by this point. I was like a freshman and I was like, you know what? Let me just start modeling. I couldn't train Taekwondo as often. So I started modeling all throughout college. And then 2015, I graduated, worked 3 months corporate. I have a degree in pharmaceutical and healthcare business at the University of the Sciences of Philadelphia, which is not called that anymore. But got a job offer right out of college, worked 3 months, quit. I did not like it. It was just not me. And I was like, you know what? Life is too short. Let me do modeling like full time and let me try to get into acting. So that's kind of how it started. Then I met like my best friend now, Joey. Shout out to Joey Min. See you, homie. And we have a YouTube channel / film production company together called School Dropouts, and been doing that, acting and modeling ever since.
When you were performing as a martial artist, did you enjoy the performance aspect of that, like having people watch while you were on the mat?
It's very nerve-wracking. But even now I'm retired from competition, but I really miss it. I want to go back to it because every year my team and I, like my YouTube channel, like film production company, School Dropouts, like we still go to my school's Red Tiger Taekwondo tournament and it's nostalgic. It's like a family reunion and we see it every year and I'm like, oh man, I miss it. Forms, I loved forms because of the technical aspects of it and just like the little details. Sparring, I mean, I liked it and I didn't like it at the same time because, I mean, come on, there's somebody trying to literally hurt you. Like they're trying to kick you and punch you in the face. And I always say this on our channel. I'm like, female martial artists, we are the worst. We are so mean. Like, I know some people may be like, oh no, like we're not. I'm like, no, guys, we are, because I feel like it's like rooted deep inside of us. Guys are so nice. They're like, yo, that was a great fight. Like, see you next time. Girls, it's like, it's a mind game. I don't know. I have this whole thing about it and Joey wants to write a script, but I'm just like, okay, I mean, I'm down, but yeah, I do miss it. But I mean, I'm 33 now. My hips, my joints and stuff, it's just not the same. So everything hurts. I think that was me.
You're
oh my
good.
gosh.
Oh, you're good.
I thought I muted it. My bad, guys. Wow, clearly, quiet on set did not apply to me today. But yeah, I do miss it. I would love to go back. But what's great is like I'm able to utilize like my background in martial arts towards like films and acting. And I think just being like fully like self-aware of your body and what you're able to do, I think because of my martial arts background, I've been able to be, I want to say, a pretty good model and actress and even a filmmaker, because it's like, you know, when there's like fires burning all over set, you need to put them out and problem solve, you know, wear multiple hats.
Absolutely. Be aware of like your heart rate, your like breathing, thinking about that.
It's like multitasking, balancing everything.
Can you tell me a little bit about how the technical body awareness that you developed during your martial arts was helpful as a model to kind of like know like how your form was looking?
So the transition into modeling was, I mean, granted, it took me a lot of time. I started in 2010. It took me a lot of years, a lot of shoots just to kind of like understand, because it's one thing for models to pose. I find that like a lot of models, like we just pose to pose. But I think it's very important for models, including actors, to understand what goes behind the camera. Like, oh, you see a light over here. I'm not going to like pose and like look down here. It's like there's a light here, a light there. You know, you have to like at least have a general idea of how you look in certain lighting. So the posing aspect, though, it's like it's different than martial arts, where it's like, you know, you're doing a punch and it's like slow then fast. When I'm posing, it's personally for me, I like to just kind of flow into poses, because if somebody is booking me for like an hour-long shoot, and I learned this early on looking at like just shots that I had done with like photographers, some of the shots, or half of them, are not usable just because it's like me transitioning mid pose to another pose. So being able to kind of flow and make sure that every shot is usable is like so important. And like you'll be surprised like how many different poses you're able to do just because you're flowing into one. But I think with martial arts, one of the benefits is like, because of it, like if somebody's like, hey, I really liked this pose, I can translate it and I can replicate that pretty easily. And I can hold that pose for quite a while, I would say. Yeah. Photographers, make sure you remind your models, like, hey, you could take a break while I'm fixing lights, because we will hold poses for 10 minutes if you don't say anything.
It's so funny that you say you move slowly between your poses as a model compared to maybe your martial artists where things are more fast-paced. Yeah. Because I found as a photographer, some of my best photos are when someone's just like looking down at the floor, like thinking about what to do next, or looking at their phone. Like that liminal space in between two actions, that's where kind of the most interesting photos can come from.
A lot of times I find that the best like shots of certain people's face is when they're like opening their eyes. And like some models, they don't realize that. So a lot of times, like I also do it slow. Yeah, because I mean, I just think it's like habit. It's funny. I was explaining it to another model actress earlier today, because she wanted to pick my brain about like my career and journey and all that. So this is like kind of my second interview for today. But I was like trying to explain to her that like when you're starting off modeling, you kind of have to look in the mirror and practice, like do those slow movements, have an idea of like what you look like in front of like a camera, but also like from the side as well. When people say like, oh, like, do you have a side preference of like being shot on? And I'm like, no, just it depends on the light. Wherever the light is, that's my side. Wow. Because the lighting, it does everything. And I think that a lot of models and actors really should understand what goes behind the camera. I mean, literally, I shared today, Tom Cruise, I guess he made a statement, I think it was maybe at like the Cannes Film Festival, but it's just like actors today do not know like what lens is being shot with. Like, I mean, a 50 looks different than like an 85, and also knowing like what you're working with. Like, you know what I mean? So I think that that's so important. And it's honestly one of the reasons why I think that I get booked for acting roles. It's because you're not just getting an actress, but you're getting like an actress that at least has an understanding of what goes behind the camera, and I can provide assistance if needed, you know? So it's like, oh, okay, this is the shot, this is the action, this is the dialogue. All right, just for cutting purposes, let me start with the prior sentence and flow into it, because in my head, it's like when you're editing it, it has to be consistent and it's easier. If I change every single shot, oh my God, like I feel bad for the editor, you know what I mean? But being fully aware and having that respect for the production team, you only look good or you like look a certain way because of the team that's behind you. And I feel like a lot of people, they don't appreciate that as much as they should today.
That's so huge. Yeah, I love that sense of self-awareness, you know, as a performer. I think so many actors, they get in their mindset, it's like, I'm acting, like I'm the main character right now. And it's like, no, they're not thinking about the first AC who, you know, has a focus mark to pull. And you're talking about the difference between lens. Like, you know, if your eye line is here and you do this with your hand, like you do like a different hand motion, it's going to be completely different.
Yeah, it's going to change. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's like, being consistent, it's like, yes, you can have like your decisions as an actor, make those character decisions. But I feel like you kind of need to make it a little bit easier for the production. It's already hard enough when the director has a vision and it's like, hey, can we do this? Can we do that? Now the whole team, it's like, okay, lighting's like, okay, if they're going to do this, I have to kind of move the lights a little bit. You know what I mean? And it's like those little decisions affect the whole entire team. So I just think that like there should be more people like actors and models who really like just pay attention and really appreciate the team that's behind the project, whether it's a commercial, a photo shoot, or a film production. Because they're the first ones on set and the last ones to leave. And in the industry, it's always like, hey, the lead actors, they eat first. And personally, I walk around on set and it's just like, hey, do you want a snack or anything? Like, I just try to help as much as possible. Like, for example, grips, like production team, guys, get a heated jacket. You don't know where you're going to be. And if you're outside holding like a C-stand or a light or something, and it's like negative 20 degrees out there, get a heated jacket, guys. I feel so bad. But yeah, all the love for everybody that has given me opportunities and like help like me to get where I am today, really. It's like all those experiences.
A lot of things we've been talking about on the podcast are presence. We've been talking a lot about presence and listening. How kind of we've a lot of my guests feel that, you know, that's been a lost art that people have been kind of saying. They've been trying to self-express. We're in a very self-expressing portion of history where like it's all about like what do you identify as, like what do you express yourself as, and not so much with listening to the feedback that the person in front of you might be giving you. So it's kind of interesting how you're saying like, what's the feedback that camera lens is going to be giving me, or that production team or the photographer, like I'm doing this model pose. It's not about me doing the pose. It's like, what is the result that person is getting?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, listening is so important. Like on set, I mean, it's not like I'm eavesdropping, but when I hear like the director talk to like the DP or something, I'm just trying to have an understanding of like, oh, so that's what they're planning on, like the camera movements or whatnot. So that way the director doesn't have to repeat themselves again to me. I think it's so important to have like the whole production be on like the same page. And oftentimes it's just the production team that's on the same page and the actors or models are kind of like out of the loop. And I feel like maybe one way to build that, like, I guess, collaboration and work efficiency is to have like the performers involved in those conversations. Because I'm like, I don't want to have the director like spend another 2 minutes explaining like, oh, this is what I want you to do. It's like, let me just listen in. Okay, so that's what I need to do. All right, let me think about that. Okay, where's the lights? Where's the camera? Okay. And just like being just present and aware of where you are. And there's nothing wrong about like having suggestions or anything like that. That's why like early on for our School Dropouts, I learned like Joey, he's the creative head of our production. So before, he would have all the shots in his head. He already knows like the shots. He has like, I guess, his own storyboard in his head. But leading up to certain shoots, like I was trying so hard, like, hey, you need to have the full team like understand what you're seeing, because I can never fully replicate what you have in your head. And plus it takes like time for you to explain like, oh, this is the shot. Okay. So should we have the light here? But what's the next shot? Like, is that going to be weird? So now, fortunately, I'm so thankful because he was very cooperative and open to it. And plus, it saves us a ton of headache. We do everything in pre-production. Everything. We previs the whole entire project. The entire project. We literally have a previs version of like our feature films. Like, and it's shot terribly because it's on a phone. And we even use like stuffed animals. These are the extra bad guys. They're like, look at each other. Now run forward. Like, just so we can, everybody in the production could like have an idea of like, oh, okay, so that's the shot. And I create the shot lists, plan out the days. But now it's like our projects, we go pretty quick. And granted, like, yes, we're still very indie. We have like no money. We're broke. But like, I think the record is like we finished 76 shots in one day. Yeah. And I try to keep it to at least like an 8-9 hour day. And it's just me, Joey, and our friend Angela. Like she helps here and there too. Like she usually does like the props and makeup stuff. But like we cook for our cast and crew. We like handle everything. And yeah, it's a saying.
I love it. I just had another filmmaker, great friend, 𝐏𝐢𝐜𝐿 on my show, but he's in Philadelphia. He's fabulous. But he loves shooting on film. So yeah, and I AD for him. So all this language you're speaking is, so I AD for him 4 or 5 film productions, like 16 millimeter. And that stuff is burning. It's $500 for 5 minutes of film. So you're shooting like a 15-minute short. We got like 30 minutes of roll. It's a 2-to-1 ratio. So you must prepare.
Yeah.
Everyone, as soon as that thing goes roll, it's dollars.
Yep.
So you must be prepared. Everyone needs to know exactly what they're doing. There's no like, my cinema cameras can record for 100 hours, and like with the cards, it can just go forever. But that sense of like preparation going in, it's just so interesting to me. I love that your production team does that.
Yeah. And we have everything like on our, we have a Patreon. We're very transparent. I believe in like just being like just transparent with our audience. That's why all of our films are like on YouTube. But we have like, we're the first ones that I know of and the only ones that do Insta 360 behind the scenes live streams for like 50 minutes at a time. Just because like if you guys have a VR headset, you put it on, it's very trippy. I did not like it because I got to see past Stephanie and I could see how stressed she was. But she's like literally standing next to me. So, but it's cool because you could see exactly how we work, all the ups and downs in the production, and it's as transparent as possible, like as we can possibly be. But our audience, they really like seeing behind the scenes. I mean, that's a big thing now, people posting behind the scenes content. But yeah, I mean, I have a friend, he just started a business where he's offering on-set tours to people who want to be on set on like a film, just because they want to just try it out. But for us, we're like, oh, Patreon, let's do this because we have people from other states and countries that, I mean, we can't bring them over. But it's like, hey, if you have a VR headset, you could try it. Or if you're on your phone or like tablet or something, you could actually move around and like just kind of swipe around. It's really cool. But yeah, we're like the only ones that do it pretty consistently. And it's kind of interesting to go back and like look at it because I'm just like, wow, I can't believe we fit so much in that amount of time. And it's like, I'm just running around and yeah, it's crazy. But we have all of our previses, our shot lists, scripts, everything on our Patreon. And some people like it. Yeah.
In the same way that an actor can review their performance and tweak things and be self-aware of how they're acting, you can watch yourself as the producer AD and like review that and make tweaks to yourself.
Oh my gosh, I have. Because I'm like, you know what? I think I might have been a little too mean. So maybe I should calm down on that. I was like, it's not that big of a deal, Stephanie. Like, you can calm down. But yeah, I love like what I do. I can't even imagine if I were to go back into corporate doing like all of that. It's just, I work all the time now, but I'm so much happier doing it.
Yeah. I love that you cook for your crew because the AD is sometimes not everybody's friend, but it's still like, I still love you. I'm gonna put food in your tummy, but hurry up.
We cannot like emphasize this enough, guys. Feed your crew, feed your cast and crew, feed your production. We have a show on YouTube called Crafties for Cheap. Like my friend Joey, he likes cooking. So he will create recipes that's like low budget, easy to make to feed your cast and crew. And I feel like the days of pizza, guys, like, you know how expensive pizza is nowadays? It's so expensive. But I think just taking the time and feeding your cast and crew just actually builds up morale. And also, if you guys want to hire art school dropouts to handle your crafties and cooking on sets, please hit us up, because that is something that we would love to do. Because I mean, who's your favorite people on set? Exactly. But also, like, we just like really enjoy it. Like, we worked on 𝐏𝐤𝐬𝐬's newest feature film that I told you earlier. It's being premiered June 12th at the Black American Film Festival. It's called Trouble Man. And like, we were able to talk to like the Crafties crew. We talked to everybody. And it's like, okay, what you always need is chips, chocolate, and water, like as a base. Then you add more, salt, because you need salt, chocolate because you need something sweet, and of course water, like hydrate. But yeah, oftentimes, crew, you guys don't eat. It's like you're running all over the place. I think production crews, like, we have the worst diets when we're shooting. And having a nice cooked meal, I think, is the bare minimum.
I think the worst set I ever did was this main short film, very young crew, but 17-hour day. We woke up at 6 a.m. and 27-hour day. We woke up at 6 a.m.
Wait, there's only 24 hours in
I know.
a day.
We woke up at 6 a.m. and we were still shooting until 9 a.m. the next morning. And I think we ate one time, and it was like chips. That was it. But what happened is it was a 7-day shoot, and the rest of the 6 days were just a wash, because that was the first day. Yeah. So the first day should be the chill day, the one that you acclimate everyone to. But
how I schedule our stuff, the first day is the heaviest day. Get the heaviest stuff out of the way. That way, because like for like scheduling purposes, it's like get as many shots as done as possible on the first day, and then like have it trickle down. So that way by the last day, it's easy. But it's also kind of different because a lot of our projects, we have fight choreography. So we want people like to be like nice, fresh, and ready. Because like we really push our guys. Like, I consider myself the weakest like performer in our group. And even Joey's like, faster. And I'm like, okay, I'm trying. And I'm like, my hips aren't the same anymore. But I have no complaints, because one of our like recent short films was with Felix Cortez, and he's like 60 some years old, and he's going full send. And I'm like, you know what? Can't complain anymore. I should go faster. But yeah, so that's why like we usually I schedule it that way. Yeah.
what does resilience mean to you?
Resilience, I feel like in this industry, it's just very hard, whether it's like psychologically, emotionally, physically. Like, there's so many things that could potentially be like, okay, you know what? I quit. Like, in any moment you're doing something, you're like, that's it. That's my limit. I'm done. And I feel like resilience, like if you really love something, if you really love what you do, you'll figure out a way. And I think just adapting and just like really relying on the passion and just like trusting yourself. I think really trusting yourself, because you'll be surprised what you're capable of doing at the end of it, and you'll be better for it. So, and then the next time you're like, you know what, that was a piece of cake. Because after, like, honestly, after our time working on Trouble Man with 𝐏𝐢𝐜𝐿, because it was like our first Hollywood production being crew, like doing fight choreography. After that, all of our projects moving forward were like, this is easy. We went through so much over there. Like, we slept probably like an hour or two a night. We were on set almost every single day, even when we weren't needed. Just because we were trying to plan and like prep for any possible outcome, because it's not our set. So we wanted to make sure that we were ready. And yeah, we looked so disheveled but towards the end of it. But like after that, I was like, guys, we survived. It's also crazy that we were on set with like 𝐏𝐢𝐜𝐿, Method Man, like Mike Epps, like Orlando, like all these people. And we did it. The film's finished. It's coming out. And I'm like, you know what? Whether it's good or bad, we survived. And we could have just been like, you know what? We quit. We're going home. But we stuck with it.
Tell me about your upbringing.
So growing up, I have two brothers. My older brother is like my half brother. He lives in California, but I basically grew up with my younger brother. But I spent most of my time literally at tournaments. My parents were just like, I want to say kind of stereotypical Vietnamese American parents, like, hey, you need to do well in school, but you need to train because you need to like do well in martial arts. I grew up watching a ton of martial arts films, which I think explains why I am where I am today, doing like action films. But it's like, I'm grateful for it. It's funny, I saw my parents yesterday and I found like old cassettes that my dad has of all of my tournaments. So I have a whole box of these cassettes. And when I was younger, I hated it. I hated watching myself perform. I hated watching myself spar because it's like nitpicking. It's like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have done this. And it's like, of course you would get like kicked in the face, Stephanie. You didn't put your hands up. But now that I'm older, it's like I appreciate all of the work and effort that my parents had put into like really encouraging me. And plus, like, it got to a point when I wanted to be a world champion that I became very obsessive. I trained so much, like unhealthily too much. Today, kids, they understand the concept of like rest days. When I was younger, there was no such thing as a rest day. I didn't know. Like, we didn't have that type of like education, resources, or knowledge. So I used to wake up at like 6 a.m. I would run like 2 miles. I would train a little bit in the basement, go to school, come home, do my homework, go to Taekwondo class for 2 hours, go to this one like I guess center that has like a huge Olympic-sized swimming pool. I would swim a mile and then come home and then do homework, eat, and go to sleep and repeat. And then on weekends, I would train. So Saturdays, we would meet up and run the track with the team because we would have team training. So that's like 2 hours just running. And then sometimes afterwards, we would also train for another 2 hours. And then on Sundays, I would train at home. It got to a point where my parents, like my dad would literally be like, why are you in the basement? Your uncle is over. And I'm like, okay, I said hi. Like, do I need to be up there? Like, for what? You can't be a world champion if you take rest days. That's what I thought. So I think because of that, my work ethic is pretty good, and I feel like I'm pretty resilient in a lot of situations. Yeah, my issue now is like, I get it a lot. People are like, you're a workaholic, and it's not a good thing. My husband is always just like, You need to rest. You need to sleep. It's like, what do you do for breaks? And I'm like, I play with my dogs or I take a nap. Maybe I'll watch a movie. I'll eat. But like, yeah, I don't know. For some reason, like, I know I need to change my mindset when it comes to like, oh, I need to take a break. Take it easy. I don't have that work-life balance yet.
Have you done any digging to try to discover what it is about you that has this voracious desire to be productive and always moving?
I have thought about it. I think it's because early on in my career, I mean, honestly, like being an Asian, like female martial artist, in the beginning, there's a stigma like to being a model. You know, it's like, oh, so you just sit there and you look pretty, you know? And it's like, no, there's more to it. There's the business aspect. You're basically an entrepreneur. You have your own business. And I think that a lot of people, even now, people when they see like, oh, you're a model, I think it's just me just trying to prove a point that it's like, hey, there's more than just us looking pretty or presentable. Like there's so much work on the back end. And I think because I did martial arts, I'm so used to just go and just trying to like be productive towards something that I carried on in my like modeling and acting career. It's like, okay, you could train, but you need to implement, you need to execute, you need to do those experiences, fail, do it again, fail again, and learn. Because it's like, you're not going to progress. Like, I'm only where I am now because I put myself out there. I failed, you know, constantly failing. Even now, I still fail. But it's like, you won't get to where you are if you don't at least try. And I think that that's kind of part of it. But I think a big part was just the stigma of like the expectation of just like, of course things come easy to you. You're pretty. And it's like, oh, like that can only carry so far. You need to have character. You need to have personality. And it's like, if you look good on paper, like your resume, your headshots, whatever, but if you are a terrible person to work with on set, no one is going to work with you again. This industry, as big as it is, as many actors, directors, filmmakers, like everybody, at the end of the day, you kind of like start to realize like, oh, wait, I know that person. It is kind of small. And you hear things about certain people where it's just like, wait, they came to set and the first thing they did was find a corner and like sleep? Or, oh, wow, they came onto set and they're high? Like, whoa, come on, like red flags. So it's also like, I think me just trying to prove a point that like, you have to be more than just a pretty face.
Yeah. Do you find ways to celebrate, to kind of offset that potential burnout that could be cropping up?
Well, fortunately, my husband is great. He's like, hey, we should take a break. And I'm like, oh, okay. I think doing YouTube and like vlogging, even though it's technically like work, I enjoy it. The thing is, like, I feel like I could keep going and going just because I love it. And like, I just enjoy it way too much. It's a problem for sure. But besides that, like, it's really just like my husband that's like, hey, come on, let's just go and just chill. And I do have some friends who are like, hey, like we plan a beach day. What are your plans? And I'm like, I was planning on showing up. Is there any other plans that I need to know of? Because that's future Stephanie's problem. But like in my head, I'm chilling. So yeah, I have to say I'm very grateful for like my husband being my rock and like my friends. Just like, hey, you could relax. This does not have to be work. But I love talking about work.
Who's the flamingo? Are you the flamingo in the relationship?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, my husband, he's the best. We met in college. We were on like the dance team together. Started dating in 2012. We got married 2019. How many years ago is that?
6 years, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. So Yeah, it's been a while, and I have to say, like, a big part of like me being where I am today is because he's been so supportive. Like, he's my biggest cheerleader.
A lot of people say if you're going to succeed as a creative in this world, you need a supportive partner.
Yeah, he's like, oh, you need to do this? Go ahead. He's like, oh, wait, should I do that? Yes, go. Because he knows it makes me happy. So I am very, very lucky. When people are like, oh my gosh, he's so lucky to have you. It's like, guys, you have no idea. I'm the crazy one, okay? He has to deal with a lot. I'm the cuckoo one. He's my rock. I'm the lucky one.
What does empowering East Asian women in the entertainment industry mean to you?
Well, early on when I started acting, a lot of the roles that I would see is like, especially towards Asian women, it's usually either assassin, assassin, or sexy prostitute, or sexy assassin prostitute. And it was like the majority of the casting at the time. I'm very lucky that I'm doing what I'm doing now in this time because we have definitely progressed in the industry. There's a lot more roles and opportunities for like Asian women in general. And I like that, like the stories that I'm able to tell with my YouTube channel, including like the independent films that I'm a part of, it's not heavily reliant on the fact that I'm Asian. It's like, oh, we just needed a woman that's strong lead. And I'm like, wow, that's it. Like, it's not because I'm Asian. Like, no, it's like, that is so amazing. And I'm like, okay, I need to do my due diligence and make sure that I am performing well. So that way, you know, more opportunities are available for other people. And, you know, sometimes like, because I guess I have kind of a large following on Instagram, I do get contacted by like new models or actresses that are Asian. And I'm like, hey, I am an open book. If anybody asks me any questions, I will tell you exactly how I got to where I was, like what had happened. And like, my journey is different than somebody else's. Everybody has their own journeys, but this is how I got to where I am. And maybe you can relate, because if you're Asian American, if you're like female, like, I mean, there's opportunities for us. We just kind of have to try and like really branch off of that. There's nothing wrong about being a sexy Asian like assassin. I mean, I model, you know, but it's just like understanding the industry and being like sure of yourself and putting those boundaries, being like very definitive of what you are comfortable with and what you're not comfortable with. Because fortunately, haven't seen any castings where it's like, oh, caricatures of being an Asian woman. But I do think now is a very sensitive time where people don't want to like push that envelope unless it's done in a very like tasteful way. Like, I mean, one of my favorite movies is Tropic Thunder, you know? It's like Robert Downey Jr. playing an Australian man playing a black man. Like, that's hilarious. But it goes to show like anyone can play any role. You just kind of have to like just give them that opportunity. But yeah, shout outs to all the directors that have given me opportunities and like cast me in things that I never thought I would see myself in. And I think because of that, now other Asian women, they're seeing that like they can do it too. And I think all of the strong women in like Hollywood, they're opening those doors. But what's crazy is that back in the 80s, like old school Hong Kong action films, we had very, very strong women leads just kicking ass. And it's like, let's get to that, you know? It's like, it doesn't matter. They're fighting all these men, does not matter. They're just strong women. It's not based on like the sexualization. They're just strong women just whooping people. And it is crazy. Yeah.
There's so many great movies. I mean, Alien is one of my favorite movies. Like you have Terminator. There's so many great opportunity. Even if, like, so Indiana Jones, like Marion kicks butt.
Yeah, and there's so many like stunt women nowadays too. Like I don't do stunts. Like I do fight choreography and whatnot, but like to me it's just action acting. Like I don't do like the heavy like falls or wrecks. Like I have way too much respect for like the stunt women that do. So I'm like, I cannot say that I'm a stunt woman. Like, gotta create that line. But some of these stunt women, they're so amazing and so talented, and like just how hard they train to get to where they are. Like they're just breaking down doors and just getting those opportunities.
Can you help me draw the line between hypersexualization of East Asian women and empowerment and celebration?
Ooh, that's a great question. I feel like that is kind of subjective to that specific woman in that situation, because every woman is different. They're going to have an opinion about like how they would like to see a woman portrayed in like social media or films. And some others would have a different preference. I think like there's nothing wrong with combining the two. Like, I mean, I model, I do implied shoots, I do nude shoots, I do lingerie. And honestly, for me, I find the nude photography, like the nude shoots, very empowering, and I find them very classy. Lingerie, it gives like this like sexual appeal. It just has a very sexualized energy once you put lingerie on a woman. And it's very interesting because it's like just with a little bit of fabric, it's like, whoa, like that's sexy. But if they're nude, it's like, oh, this is kind of like art. So I would say for anybody who's like in this industry, who's like modeling, be very, very clear with what you're comfortable with and what you're not. Just because, I mean, you can easily be persuaded, but I think having a very, very strong line of what you are okay with putting out there versus what you're not. Like, I mean, we have the internet, everything's like available and it lives forever. But being sure in that sense, I think you will find your own like definition. For me, like, yes, I use my sexuality for a lot of my like modeling work. I don't mind using it for my like acting work. But it depends on the situation. Like if it's action or like martial arts, I want my like fighting ability, my martial arts talent to shine through and not be like overshadowed because, I don't know, for some reason I'm in a skimpy bathing suit. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I think it really depends on the individual person. I can't say for all women, but I think like whatever empowers you as a woman is the right answer. Can't speak for everybody.
How did you come up with your core values for today?
I kind of looked at my own personal journey and like what I had to overcome to where I am today. It's like being very resilient, but also being able to adapt to certain situations. Because in this industry, it's like one day you could be doing this, the next day you're doing that. And like, I feel like passion, at the end of the day, the number one thing that drives it all for me is passion. So I kind of like reflected on like where I am, where I was, how miserable I used to be, and like how happy I am now. And it's like, I think just sticking to those core values, I would really hope that if people like were to like watch this or listen to this, that they can see like how genuinely happy I am right now to be here to share my story and to like, I mean, I was just a martial arts girl growing up, training in a basement. And my goal, my dream was to be a world champion. Like, I was thinking small at the time, but now it's like looking at where I am, what I have accomplished, it's like, it's only going to grow from here. And that is a situation of like, oh, it's not a case of if, it's a case of when. All right. So like, just, you know, just kind of getting past that fear of failure, just pushing through and just let that passion really drive you guys.
What's next for you?
Wow, that's a loaded question. What is next for me? I mean, still modeling, still acting, still like the YouTube channel. I have no idea when this is gonna come out, but like I said earlier, the film that we worked on with 𝐏𝐢𝐜 is being premiered in Florida and Miami at the Black American Film Festival on June 12th. We have a second feature film from our School Dropouts that we're releasing called Player Agency, where most of it, like 93% of it, was shot in VR. We can go into that. It's very complicated for any filmmakers or crew people. They're like, wait, what? It's a whole thing. That's a whole other discussion. It was a pain in the butt to shoot. I hated every moment of it. But the film is great, and that comes out in July, episodically on our YouTube channel. But it'll be released. Oh yeah, it'll be released in, I think, June. Is it coming out in July? I think it'll be released in June on our Patreon as a full film for our patrons. So that's pretty exciting. But yeah, I'm just really excited for like our School Dropouts and the next couple projects that we have. We have so many scripts, so many things that like we want to do. My dream is to to produce one feature film a year. And one day I would love to have our own film fund to help the next like film group that wants to do what we do, but also guide them through the process. It would be nice if like, it's like, hey, let me hold your hand so you could be successful. But that's kind of the dream.
Where can we find you?
Oh, okay. Everything Art School Dropouts. So YouTube, Art School Dropouts. We have artschooldropouts.com. We also have a tutorial series on how to like produce your own fight scenes. These are specifically for filmmakers. This is not a fight choreography class. This is not a stunts course. It's literally how to produce, like how to plan, shoot, and edit fight scenes. And we have a whole library of our previses that you can literally use for your films. We've had filmmakers just copy it and make some changes, and now they have a fight scene for their projects, and it's great. We also like TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. We're also fiscally sponsored. We also have merch, our School Dropouts. But yeah, everything Art School Dropouts. If you want to find my Instagram, it is, I mean, I'll just probably you could just probably put it up somewhere, but you can find it through Art School Dropouts. My husband made my Instagram name for like years ago, and I can't bring myself to change it. Everybody's like, you should change it to your name. And I'm like, right now it's SFAMITKD. And yeah, I can't bring myself to change it. It's too sentimental to me.
SFAMITKD.
Yep.
Spammy.
Spammy. Yep. That's my thing.
Stephanie, thank you so much for coming.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for having me. I hope it wasn't like too all over the place.
It's just great. I think we'll love it.